A, 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 A. We got words like day, day, say, hey, bay, tay. Okay? Day, day, say, hey, bay, tay. So, again, I'm not gonna translate. You can do that on your own if you want. But when you have this spelling, you got day, or bay, or tay on this, and you got day, say, silent D, hey. It's something to help you recognize the pattern. It's not as random as you might think. Like, there's a reason why we say the words in a certain way, and this will help you. Then you got ang, like A-N-G, ang, 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 ang. Got the sang, klang, rang, bang, lang. Okay, it's kind of funny to say them in this order. Lang, klang, 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 rang, bang, and lang. So you can repeat, and again, it's the kind of video that you should watch more than once. So yeah, then we got ane, ane. It's nice. Some examples: fane, hane, svane, bane. Again, fane, hane, svane, bane. Alright. Next one is an or and, and. It's the same pronunciation. Kan, van, land, dan. Kan, van, land, dan. Now the last one is a name, but it doesn't matter. It's the same rule. Kan, van, land, dan. Okay? And yes, that is indeed a silent D. Kan, van, land, dan. Very nice. Now this one, the last one on this slide, is a little bit annoying if you're a beginner at least, because it's pronounced Asher. Yeah, right. So this one is A, day, say, bay. But this one is Asher. And how do you know? Well, that's a little bit tricky. But if it looks like it comes from another language, like French, then it probably has a different set of rules, right? It's a little more rare. And if it's hard to keep track of, then just have two lists and write it down. Paper or in Google Docs, up to you. So what we got? Massage, sabotage, collage. Okay. Massage, sabotage, collage. Nice. So yeah, this is the first slide, eh? Of course, I'm doing A first. And there's more, just with A. Yeah, this is nice. You got ale. It's not a word on its own. Ale. Like chokolade, ballade, rokade. Chokolade, ballade, rokade. So that's a soft D. And when you see that, you want to assume that, okay, this is a soft D. If there are two Ds, it might be a hard one. Yeah. But this is just one. Så, chokolade, ballade, rokade. Nice. Og så har vi ale. Okay, examples of that. Hale, lokale, dale, tale. And again, hale, lokale, dale, tale. Very nice. Alle. Yeah, so this is different. Right? This is a long sound. Hale, lokale, dale, tale. But this is a quicker sound, like shorter sound, like alle. Ale, alle. They're not the same. It's important to know the difference. Alle, balle, skalle, palle. Alle, balle, skalle, palle. Palle, palle, palle. There's also a name. Right? So pay attention to all the letters, because it is like a little patterning. A certain spelling will trigger a certain pronunciation. Some learners might say that it's just so random and there is no way of knowing, but that is not true. There are ways. It just takes some time to remember them. Okay, super. Hvad har vi så? Den næste, det er ar. Yeah, ar. That's actually a word on its own as well. Ar. Words like ra, ha, ba, dromedar. Ra, ha, ba, dromedar. Alright, that's cool. So yeah, very often if you have an A and an R next to each other, you get that ah sound, eh? I call it the deep A. This is what I call it. Ah. Ra, ha, ba, dromedar. So that's how it is. Okay. Okay, og så har vi den her ral. Yeah, ral. Ral, ral. Neutral, astral, koral, general. Neutral, astral, koral, general. Yeah. Super. So sometimes the A is a, like ale, ale, alle, and other times it's a. And you don't really have a way of knowing if you don't practice a lot. And watching this video, of course, will help you in that process. Neutral, astral, koral, general. Beautiful. Gå videre. Okay, so here we have some of these, right? It's actually an extension of a previous point, but I'll just mention it anyway. Tra. Traktor, tradition, trauma, traktat. Traktor, tradition, trauma, traktat. Okay, that's pretty easy. I can move on. You got this one, L. It could also be a silent E. I didn't write one, but it could also have that. Sa. Skal, metal, halal. Skal, metal, halal. Yeah. So that is the A sound, eh? A. Skal, skal. And skal is very useful. It means have to. Right? Oh, jeg skal gøre det. I have to do it. Yeah. Her så har vi rave. Rave. You got opdrage, fordrage, drage, rave. That's a lot of R's. Opdrage, fordrage, drage, rave. So remember that, right? Rave, rave, fordrage, fordrage, drage, rave. Yeah. Okay. Så har vi arm. Arm, lam, bam, ham, tam. Okay. Lam, bam, ham, tam. Easy, right? So it's about remembering this, because then you see a similar word, right? Almost the same spelling. You're like, oh yeah, I remember. I think it's arm. Of course it is. So yeah, it's easier that way. And then arp. Yeah, arp doesn't exist on its own. Skarp, harpe, harpix, mulvarp. Skarp, harpe, harpix, mulvarp. So they changed it a little bit. I think this one actually has an E, harpe, but it's the same main point. Harpix is a bit longer, and mulvarp, it ends like that. Skarp, harpe, harpix, mulvarp. Det er bare super. Okay, vi tager den næste. Den næste, hvad har vi her? Got a little arme. Arme, like ramme, kramme, samme. Ramme, kramme, samme. Right? Then you got akke. Some examples would be snakke, pakke, jakke. snakke, pakke, jakke. Right? Snakke, pakke, jakke. Snakke, pakke, jakke. Oh, the next one. This one can be tricky for some learners. This au. Au. Because you're thinking, well, that's how can it suddenly become au? Well, I have to comment on the meaning a little bit, because it means like and like off or off. But when it's like a prefix here, then it becomes au, and that's very important to remember. And then the pronunciation changes when you got that af in the beginning. It becomes au. It's not af. don't say af with any of these. That would be funny. Yeah, but incorrect. So, got the aftale, aflægge, afprøve. Okay. Aftale, aflægge, afprøve. That's nice. Aftale, aflægge, afprøve. Nice. Så har vi den her. Det er akt. Så sagt, magt, smagt. Sagt, magt, smagt. Alright. Yeah, so it's act sound. It's a hard G in this case. Sagt, magt, smagt. Så har vi, so AG2 og AG2 is different, right? Because there are certain words. It's kind of like with au. They become different when it's a compound word. I think like it's two words put together, or it's at least derived from one word. So something like daglig, dagbog, saglig, sagsøge. On their own, it's day, and then say. But because they're prefixes, then they are pronounced dag and sav. Yeah. Daglig, dagbog, saglig, sagsøge. Okay? So that's how it is. Okay, so har vi, this is the last one with A. Yeah, just one letter, there's so much. Vi har noget I. Right? This is a J that looks bad with this font, I admit that, but it is a J. So I, words like my, high, mice. My, high, mice. So it's I. My, high, mice. Very nice. And then you got ads. Right? This is a long sound. Ads. Like citat, mandat, advokat. Okay. Citat, mandat, advokat. So this one is long, and remember that because this is short. Like at, to og at2. Så det bliver kat, skat, plat, nat. Kat, skat, plat, nat. Alright. And yeah, that's pretty important to remember the difference. Like, citat, mandat, kat, scat. They don't really rhyme. Like, that's another way of testing it. If they rhyme, then they're in the same group. And pronunciation-wise, if they don't, then yeah. Okay, så har vi den her. Vi har as. Yeah, and it might be as or ads. Again, silent D. Remember that. So gas, gas, plads, glas, palace. Gas, plads, glas, palace. Very nice. Now the next one is just a little longer than that. Asser, 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 asser. Words like masser. Masser, kasser, passer, nasser. Masser, kasser, passer, nasser. Alright? It's just like that. Easy peasy. And the last one in A is avn. Avn, avn. Så har vi favn, ravn, København. Okay? Favn, ravn, København. Yeah, so when you have AV and it's avn, please do not say avn like a favn, ravn. That's not how you say it, right? Favn, ravn, København. And most of you know this word, so that's a help. Very nice. So that was the last one in A. Then we're moving on to O. Yeah, to O. So what we got here? Well, we got something here with the O. It's the very simple one syllable O. Like lo, ko, so, ro. And I wrote a little note here in short words. Korte ord means short words. Yeah. Lo, ko, so, ro. Do, do, do. Ho, ho, ho. Like Santa Claus. And then you have Ole. 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 Ole, Ole. That's a name, by the way. Skole, kjole, stole. Skole, kjole, stole. Nice like that. So it's a long sound, right? Skole, kjole, stole. Very nice. Alright, so again, here we have a 1 and a 2. Yeah, OG1 og OG2. This is O, like klo, bo, ko, to. Klo, bo, ko, to. So you want to keep this in mind, and I know this could be really tricky, because sometimes you'll find a word, well, it's technically two words, but they have the same spelling, like exact same spelling, but they're pronounced differently. So you have to guess it from the context, and you know that when you have a big vocabulary, you know verb conjugation, all that, it's not going to be a problem. But if you're a beginner, it can seem a little bit overwhelming. I get that. Okay, so OG2, OG, to, snow, få. To, snow, få. So this is O. It's actually the same sound as this one. Lo, ko, so, ro, to, snow, få. Alright? Yeah. Let's hear the difference. Klo, bo, to, snow. Not the same. They are different. So yeah. And then you have all. You can't really say it on its own. It's unnatural for a native speaker. So yeah. Så, ball, morgen. It's a longer word. Så, ball, morgen. Yeah, and this is very important that you don't say like org. And you might say that like organization or .org. Maybe that's what you're thinking of, but don't do that. Like så, ball, morgen. Don't say morgen. This is not German or Swedish or whatever. Så, ball, morgen. Very nice. Okay, den næste. Okay, så det er Åge, så koge, fjode, toge. Koge, fjode, toge. Toe. So yeah, that's the sound you get from OGE. Now, of course, when I'm going through these, you can always find exceptions. It's never 100%. But these are pointers. If you remember these, you are better off than maybe 90% of other learners. And that's how it is right now anyway. Like most people don't get this. So if you memorize most of these, you have already come a long way. Definitely. Okay. Så har vi OST1 og OST1. Ja, det er kost og ost. Kost, ost. Yeah, it's just two examples here, but you get the point. Kost, ost. And OST2 is ost. This is ost, this is ost. Again, have two lists, right? Write it down and keep them separate. like post, must, compost, frost. Post, must, compost, frost. Okay. And then you have OT or ODT. They're both pronounced ots. It's nice to have a little silent E as always. Ot, ots. Got, flot, slot. Got, flot, slot. Okay. That's all it is. Very simple. Then you got eon. Now I was thinking if I should put this in I or O because the I comes first, but it's mostly the O you hear, so I put it in O. Eon, and of course most of these come from Latin. That should be easy for some of you. Situation, religion, tradition, legion. Situation, religion, tradition, legion. Right. So it's easier when they are familiar. Okay, næste. Alright, let's see. So this is also O. What we got? We got some O. Yeah. O, O, O. O as skov, sjov, lov, behov. Skov, sjov, lov, behov. Alright, and again it's important that you say it correctly, so you don't say skov, sjov, lov, behov. I mean, it's hilarious, but it's wrong. Right? So skov, sjov, lov, behov. Okay, then you got on, 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 on. Vogn, on, ron. Vogn, on, ron. And I just noticed that two of these have G, but it's the same point, right? Is pronounced the same way. O-G-N, O-V-N. There's no difference in the pronunciation. Sa, on. Vogn, on, ron. Awesome. Så har vi ok. Ja, okay. Ok, ok. For eksempel den her, vi har kok, nok, shock. Knock, shock. Could also be brock. There are many words. Like, typically, when something is one syllable, you can find a lot of things that rhyme with it. I think it's like that with most languages. And the more syllables, the harder it is to find something that rhymes. So yeah. Ok, ok, docker, dock, knock, knock, clock. Yeah. Knock, shock, 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 ok, docker. Alright. Så har vi over. Over. So O-R-E or O-R-D-E. Over. Mor, spore, gjorde, jord. Mor, spore, gjorde, jord. Det er super. And then you got So some of these are longer than others. Like morsom. Morsom. Morsom, sommer, from, kom. Morsom, sommer, from, kom. Alright. So focus on this, not this. Some, morsom, sommer, from, kom. Yeah. You see, as this video is progressing, it's getting easier because you see more and more patterns. That's the goal, and that's the purpose here. So yeah. And then you got a little more with O. You got some, let's see, O-N-D. O-N-D, det er on. On. So on, that's actually a word. On, bonne. On, bonne. 2 examples is enough. On, bonne. Okay, so that's on. And I want you to notice the pronunciation, like on, because it's similar to the next one, but not quite. It's not quite the same. So, on, but this is on, okay? Well, my best actually on. So, on, like on, gong, konge, dong, gong, konge, dong. Yeah, the spelling is pretty similar, but they're quite different in the pronunciation. Yeah, we also have one pronounced as ung, but that's actually UNG. I'll get to that in the next video. So yeah. And then you have OF, that's off, off. Yeah, can you say? You can say hof, philosoph, stuff. Hof, philosoph, stuff. It's just beautiful, right? Hof, philosoph, stuff. So you got that off. Yeah, pretty simple. And the next one is just an extension of that. Loft, toft, groft. Loft, toft, groft. It's beautiful. And the last one on this slide is up, oppe. Like krop, stop, pop, oppe, stoppe, hoppe. Let's do it again. Krop, stop, pop, oppe, stoppe, hoppe. Yeah, the P is not so pronounced. It almost sounds like a B, right? Like oppe, stoppe, hoppe. But it is what it is, alright? So that's how you say it. Yeah, something with A-N-N-E or A-N-D-E. Anne. Anne, Anne. Like banne, lande, danne, hanne. Okay. Banne, 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 lande, danne, hanne. So it kind of makes sense. And you got the two N's. It's like a fast sound. Banne, lande, danne, hanne. Okay, super duper. And then you got this ast, right? A-S-T, A-S-T, ast. What we got? Fantast, mest, test, lest, fantast, mest, test, lest. As a native speaker, you feel a little bit crazy saying it this way, because it's not a sentence. But yeah, some examples, right? Ast. Så har vi den her. Apel. Not a word on its own, but profitabel, rentabel, risikabel. Profitabel, rentabel, risikabel. Alright, that's how it is. Profitabel, rentabel, risikabel. Beautiful. Very nice. This one, angse, yeah, that is weird, right? Like the spelling and the pronunciation. It's not typical Danish, but you know, sometimes there's some surprise. And that's how you say it. Angse, seance, chance, trance. Again. Seance, chance. Trance. Alright. So yeah, that is how you say it. Angse. Fantastisk. Den næste side. Okay. Got a little bit here. Ode. Something with ode in it. Metode. Kode. Node. Metode. Kode. Node. Tode, kode, node. Alright. Så har vi ORT1, ORT1. Stort, sort, gjort. Stort, sort, gjort. I know that it can be a little bit tricky from a learner's perspective that there's an ORT1 and an ORT2 and they don't sound the same, but yeah, you just have to keep more than one list, right? And it sucks a little bit, but you can still learn. It takes some time to learn. You'll be fine. This is the first one. Stort, sort, gjort. And then the second is ort. Yeah, Kort, hjort, comfort. Kort, hjort, comfort. Right, so this is ord. Stort, sort, gjort. It's ord. Kort, hjort, comfort. Yeah, that is beautiful. Så har vi den her. I got a little dum. Dum like lærdom, visdom, ungdom. Lærdom, visdom, ungdom. Dum. It's easy enough, right? Dum. And one, yeah. One, like trone. Kone, lone, yeah, that's a name. Alright. Trone, kone, lone. It's beautiful. That's how it is. Okay, så den næste. E is very simple. E. Ske, se, le. Ske, se, le. Ske, se, le. Right? Just one syllable, like straight out the alphabet. Ske, se, le. Nice. Yeah, what is this? This is el. Examples. Hel, mel, del. Hel, mel, del. Nice, it's easy enough. El. And then this one with elle, yeah. Novelle, celle, helle. Novelle, celle, helle. Alright. Yeah, once again there's 1 and 2. Not cool, but it is what it is. So this is alt. Felt, helt, specielt, talt. Felt, helt, specielt, talt. Yeah, so that's alt. Now the second one gets a little bit annoying because this is helt. Yes, helt. So you got helt, delt, fordelt. Helt, delt, fordelt. And you notice that this appears in both. So here it means hero. Yes, that kind of hero. And here helt is like completely or fully. And yeah, helt klar, I'm totally ready. Yeah. Helt. You could say helten helt, and the hero is completely something, but that's for another day. Today's about pronunciation. Felt, helt, specielt, talt. Helt, delt, fordelt. Just like that. Næste. Alright. We got elv, self, helvede. It's a longer word, but it doesn't matter. It's still elv in here. Selv, helvede. Selv, helvede. For helvede. Yeah, you know what it is. Then we have em. Em. Problem, eksem, system. Problem, eksem, system. That's easy enough, right? Em, problem, eksem, system. And also you learn how to be a rapper, a poet, whatever. You can rhyme, learn a little pronunciation. Then you got en og ene. Enlig, enestående, ensom, enevælde. Enlig, enestående, ensom, enevælde. So that's en. Then you got ende, ende, ende. Hende, denne, menneske. Hende, denne, menneske. Alright? Yeah, nothing else to say. Ein, ein. Rein, tegn, ein. Okay? Rein, tegn, ein. Yeah. So this is important because when I teach, most of the mistakes surrounding pronunciation is actually not about saying the sounds, but more about saying the right ones. Like you see the spelling, but you pronounce it wrong because you think it's random, but it's not. And so this is the key. This is something you integrate. You watch, you're like, oh, okay, it makes sense. And you take notes and watch it again, and it makes it easier. All right. So this is med n, ikke? IND og IN. N. Send, kend, den. Send, kend, den. Yeah, it's easy enough. Right? So this one doesn't have a D, a silent D, but it doesn't matter. It's the same sound. Right? Send, kend, den. And that's it. I, fi, si, I, lie. Fi, si, I, lie. Kind of annoys me that with this font, the J looks like an I. Yeah, it's a J. Fi, si, I, lie. Alright, very good. Ebbe, ebbe, ebbe. Like steppe, heppe, jeppe. And again, steppe, heppe, jeppe. Easy. Steppe, heppe, jeppe. Steppe, heppe, jeppe. Er, er. Er, der, vær. Er, der, vær. Alright. Klar til næste. Ready for the next one. So this one is erden, the spelling. Verden, smerten. And sometimes I include two because they have the same pronunciation. Especially if there's not a whole lot of words with that spelling. Verden, smerten. Verden, smerten. Okay, and this one, ear, and this one is a very, very common mistake. I hear it a couple of times a week, I would say, from my students, because in English you might be tempted to say like invitere or tear or something like that, but no, it's ear. Right? It's two syllables. Invitere, præsentere, kalkulere. Let's do it again. Invitere, præsentere, kalkulere. So it's ear. It's very important. Gotta get this right. Also, this is where the stress is. I talked about that before in another video. Alright, cool. So, yeah, what we got here. Similar but a little different. Rea. Oh yeah, practice with the R. Rea. So, for instance, generere, inspirere, tolerere. Alright. Generere, inspirere, tolerere. Yeah, so also has the stress here. Invitere, præsentere, kalkulere. Generere, inspirere, tolerere. Yeah, easy enough once you remember. Okay, I got the EST or EDST. Est. Alright, what is it? Best, test, vest. Best, test, vest. So it's easy, right? One syllable. Best, test, vest. Yeah, that's all. Næste. Okay, so this is IND. You can say in. Sind, kind, kvinde, ven. Yeah, the D is silent. Sind, kind, kvinde, ven. Okay, this is IN. There's no D. Changes a lot. Min, din, sin, fin. Look at that, right? Sind, kind, kvinde, ven. And then min, din, sin, fin. Very different. Mean. Also be careful you don't say it in a very hard way. I can imagine if your language is, it could be anything, it could be English or Arabic or Chinese, you'll be like min, din, sin, fin. Sin, fin like in Spanish. But yeah, you don't say that. I think it's mean, din, sin, fin. It's a little bit longer. Now I'm exaggerating because I'm teaching you, so I speak very slowly. But even in real life, we're not going to say min. The min. Mean. That's how it is. Alright. Awesome. This is ene. Well, sorry. Ene. Vine. Mine. Rutine. Kusine. Nice. Vine. Mine. Rutine. Kusine. Yeah, so that's how it is. Right? En and ene. Min, din, sin, fin. Vine, mine, rutine, kusine. Then you got ing. Tvinge, vinge, bing, ting. Tvinge, vinge, bing, ting. Easy enough, right? It's got that G, remember that. Ing, you have it in English too, and like singing, ringing, ding, thing, same ending. Tvinge, vinge, bing, ting. Nice. Så har vi den her, det er IK1, because there's another one on the next slide. This is geek, skik, panic. Geek, skik, panic. It's nice. Geek, skik, panic. Remember that, because the next one is IK2, slick, fig, hick. Yeah, it's time to have two lists again. Right, so here we have, let's go back one. Okay, geek, skik, panic, slick, fig, hick. It's ik, ik. Different sounds. And then we got ew. Some examples are liv, piv, niv, kniv. Liv, piv, niv, kniv. Nice. And id, that's a softie. Id. Vid, lid, tid, bid. Vid, lid, tid, bid. Vid, lid, tid, bid. Easy enough. Id, softie. Please don't say hardy. Don't say vid, lid, tid, bid. Nah. I got the ring. Ring could be omkring, bring, ring, omring. Omkring, bring, ring, omring. Yeah, easy enough. Then there is ist, and so there's ist or idst. Ist. Gnist, sist, hist, pist. Gnist, sist, hist, pist. Just like that. Okay, so this one is a little bit different because it's, you still got some I's, but the focus here is more on some soft D's or hard D's or silent G's. That's also pronunciation. It's not all about vowels. So, mig, dig, sig, and with short pronouns. Like, jeg keder mig, or du keder dig, han keder sig. Right? So, yeah, this is very important. I have to mention it because, again, I see learners reading something, and then they don't know if it's si or sai. And si, like say, the imperative si knows, say something. So yeah, please remember if it's a short pronoun, right? Like han keder sig, hun keder sig, eller de hygger sig, any reflexive verb. Then it's that, sig. And of course, mig, dig, and don't say dig. Jeg kender dig. Jeg elsker dig. Nah, it's fine. If you're new to Danish, whatever, it's okay to make mistakes. But if you've been in Denmark for a while, it's like, yeah, come on, you know this. Mig, dig, sig. Alright. Yeah, so this one is a soft D. Stadig. From the top. Stadig, stedig, ledig, samtidig. Stadig, stedig, ledig, samtidig. I know these two are very similar, but they are not the same. Stadig, stedig, sta. Yeah, we have to say back and forth, you kind of fumble it. Sta. Right? They're not the same. So yeah, this is the soft D. Don't say steady, liddy, samtidig. Nah. Keep it soft. This one is hard. Gyldig, skyldig, fuldstændig. And so two of these actually have an L before. Gyldig. Yeah, and all of these are adjectives. I'll talk more about the word classes some other day. But yeah. Gyldig, skyldig, fuldstændig. Yeah. And also that's a silent G. I didn't write that, but I could have added that. Gyldig, skyldig, fuldstændig. You don't say the G, so it's silent. Alright. Li, endelig, hellig, lia, kedelig. Endelig, hellig, lia, kedelig. That's a silent G. It's not endelig, hellig, lika, kedelig. No. This is not Swedish or Icelandic or something. Endelig, hellig, lia, kedelig. Alright, I think the point is pretty clear on that one. So we got this. This is the last slide for today. And as you can see, this is all about the silent and one hard one. Il, hold, vil, knald. And different vowels here to really show that it's about the silent E. Because you got the L and the D. Usually when you have L and D, it's a silent D. Okay, I'm going to say that again because it's a very, very common mistake. L and D, assume that it's a silent D because it almost always is. If it's not a silent D, unless there's some exception here, it's because it's a compound word. And so it's like something that ends with L and then starts with D in a new word because it's two words put together. It's a compound or a composite word. That's different. But here there's only one syllable. So it's il, hold, vil, knald. Don't say il, hold, vil, knald. Na. So that's how it is. Alright, then you got... Oh, missing apostrophe here. Then you got ND. So you got the un, hånd, an, kvinde. Un, hånd, an, kvinde. Again, remember that. And you got the N and then the D. The D is silent. A lot of silent Ds. That's just how we are. Un, hånd, an, kvinde. Nice. RD, same point. Over, hver, jorden. Over, hver, jorden. You can also safely assume that if you see an R and a D together, the D is once again silent. Yes, a lot of repetition here. And then you actually have a hard one. It is rare. It is pretty rare to have a word with another consonant before D and then the D is hard. It doesn't happen a lot, but we have some. Here are a few examples. Bold, sekund, bande. Bold, 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 sekund, bande. Alright? So it does happen, but this is not common. This is pretty rare. And by the way, bande means gang, but it could also be banne, same spelling, different word. And banne is to curse, swear, say so-called bad words. Oh, yeah, banner, I'm swearing, like that. So yeah, be aware of the word class. And that was it for now. We got Ø, J, J, G, G, Ø, J, G. Høj, tøj, høj, tøj, smøg, møg. Okay. Høj, tøj, smøg, møg. And then you got Ø, just a letter. Tø, Ø, mø, sø. Tø, Ø, mø, sø. Okay, nice. Then you got ød, it. That is sød, sød, blød, død, fløde, kød. Sød, blød, død, fløde, kød. Alright, and I wrote it or one because down here it's also ød, but it's a different sound. Yes, of course, I could also just put an R, but anyway. Rød. This is where it starts to get fun. Rød, rød, grød, brød, fortrød. Rød, grød, brød, fortrød. And I know that if you are watching now, you are thinking, Thomas, that is the worst part of the language, rød, grød med fløde. I know, it is what it is. Right? So, the difference up here is like sød, blød, død, just to take three of them. Rød, grød, brød. This is ø, this is ø. Ød, 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 ød. They are different. Yes, the spelling is the same, but you can make two separate lists, and then you'll be fine. Yes, okay, super duper. So then, keeps jumping back. Så har vi ødt, and that is ødt, ødt, ødt. Dødt, mødt, sødt. Okay. Dødt, mødt, sødt. So that D is silent. Okay. Dødt, mødt, sødt. And that was the first slide. Alright, then we got øre, it, or øre, to. What's the difference? Well, let's take a look. Rør, dør. Rør, dør, gør. Snør, smør. Again. Rør, dør, gør. Snør, snør, smør. Okay, so that's it's that sound, and you don't have it in English, so that sucks, but yeah. And then you have, this is more like øre, right? Køer, fører, skøer, afslører, ører, møger. Køer, fører, skøer, afslører, ører, møger. Do a little comparison. Røre, døre, gør. Køer, fører, skør. They are different. Right? Remember that. Okay. And then you got ørt, ørt, ørt. Skørt, kørt, ført, mørt. Skørt, kørt, ført, mørt. So yeah, that's all it is. And if you are new to Danish, please remember that we don't say the R if what comes after is a consonant. So, you know, it's a T, and if it's could be an A or an O, like a vowel, then maybe you could say like Ø, ra, or Ø, rå, or Ø, whatever, Ø, rød. But because T is a consonant, it cannot connect to that. And we don't roll our R's. You know, I can't really roll my R because I'm Danish, but don't be tempted to say something like ørt or erd or erd, like in English or something. Don't do that. The R is more like, well, I call it an extension sound. Right? If there's no R, it would be like ut, 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 ut. But this is ørt, and so compare the two. Ørt, ut, ørt, ut. Not the same. So it's very important. Please don't try to roll your R's in Danish. Or even the Danish R, like if what follows is a consonant, like ørt. You can't even say that, it's so weird. Ørt. Anyway, you get the point. Alright, næste. This is øn, 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 søn, bøn, køn, skøn. Alright. Søn, bøn, køn, skøn. Easy. Easy, easy. And these are øst, øst, øst. Fast, størst, børste, største. Fast, størst, børste, største. Going kind of crazy saying the same sound so many times. It is what it is. Alright. So yeah, that was the second slide. Moving on. Okay, so here we got øst1, øst2. Høst, øst, søster. Høst, øst, søster. And then this one is trøst, røst. Trøst, røst. There are some more words, but it's not that many. That's why you only get 2 examples here. And so, øst, 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 øst. Høst, øst, søster. Trøst, røst. Yeah. Alright. So what we got here, we got ømme1 or ømme2, well, pronounced differently. So this is tømme, forsømme, dømme. Tømme, forsømme, dømme. Alright. Tømme, forsømme, dømme. And then this one is indrømme, drømme, strømme. Indrømme, drømme, strømme. And this is and it's a different sound. This is and actually that's not correct, it's ikke tømme, forsømme, dømme. And this is indrømme, drømme, strømme, tømme, forsømme, dømme, indrømme, drømme, strømme. Yeah, maybe it's tricky, but you gotta do it. Okay, and then you got ølle, ølle. So a few examples would be sølle, bølle, mølle. Sølle, bølle, mølle. And that is pretty straightforward. Not a lot to say about that. Okay, vi går videre. Moving on. So this is u, yeah. So the first one, very basic, we got nu, du, sku. Nu, du, sku. Nu, du, sku, yeah, I could actually make a sentence. Nu, du, sku something. Nu, du, sku, cool. Nu, du, sku, yeah, if you just want to make it all use. Nu, du, sku, cool. Yeah, okay, nice. Then you have ul or ule. Some examples could be hul, jul, bule, hule. Again. Hul, jul, bule, hule. So this is ul, right? Kind of a long sound. Hul, jul, bule, hule. Alright, cool. And then you got the ul2, but this is more like ol. We don't say ol on its own. Like hol, nul, kol. Wow, okay. Hol, nul, kol. And that's how it is. Now, I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna be like, hey Thomas, this is HUL and this is HUL. Yeah, I know it sucks. But the good thing is that this hul, and this one here, hul is hollow and like nothing inside. And then this is hol, which is a hole, like a hole in the ground. So you can see from the context, and you can see if it's a noun or an adjective. You should be able to, at least, if you know some Danish already. So this is hul, this is hul. Hul, hul. You could say it huled hul, but it's hult with a T, because it's it hul. It huled hul, hello hul. I don't think I ever heard that in my life, but you could say it. Alright, so hul, jul, bule, hule, hul, nul, kol. Very nice. Okay. Then you got UGE or UGE. Uge. Uge, uge. So. Suge, fuge, uge. Suge, fuge, uge. And it's important you say it correctly. I understand that if you're very new to Danish, you might feel tempted to say maybe suge or suje or suje, fushe, like a French, or yeah, it really depends what your native language is. But in Danish, the G, when it comes like this, when it's spelled like this, you want to assume that it's this sort of sound, like W, suge, fuge, uge. Yeah. And that's not just with you, that's with a lot of vowels. Well, I'll talk about that some other time. Alright, nice. So, the næste, what we got? We got ude, 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 skude, tude, klude. Skude, tude, klude. And yes, that is a soft E, something you have to master. Just gotta do it. Skude, tude, klude. Nah, easy enough. And then on is gonna be beginning here. Så undskyld, underlig, rund, sund. And again. Undskyld, underlig, rund, sund. Okay? Yeah, you can do it. D is silent. Don't say undskyld and underlig, rund, sund. I mean, there is something called rund, sund, but again, that's if you have a T, and like det er rundt, it is round. Eller det er ikke sundt, that is not healthy. So yeah. Okay. Then we got the UN. And duen, luen, kunne, juni. Duen, luen, kunne, juni. Maybe you could take kunne out. I mean, it's a basic sound, but it stresses a little bit different. Duen, luen, juni. Just keep focus on those three. Duen, luen, juni. Un. Yes. Okay. And then you got UR. UR could be mur, skur, lur. Mur, skur, lur. And there is again, I think there's an R, but you don't hear me say mur or skur or like mur, skur, lur. It doesn't happen, right? Telur. Nah. So yeah, just say it like that. Mur, skur, lur. Mur, skur, lur. Yeah, so easy. Alright, so then we got US, and US you get hus, lus, sus. Hus, lus, sus. Alright. Hus, lus, sus. ULD, fuld, kuld, uld. Fuld, kuld, uld. Yeah, so once again a silent D. Then you got UGL, UGL. Fugl, ule, kugle. Fugl, ule, kugle. So that sounding ooh, yeah. If there's no G, it would just be like full, like this one up here actually. And that would, instead of full, it would be, sorry, I meant to say, instead of fool, it would be full. So full, fool, full, fool. Yeah, it kind of becomes longer. You can say in full fool, it means a drunken bird. Unlikely to happen, but it's good practice to say it. Full fool, right? Yeah, and there's cool, kugle. I'm gonna say kulle if you want to make it longer, add an E. And kugle, kulle, kulle, kugle, kulle, kugle. Again, only if you put an E. Interesting. And then you got UNG, UNG, have words like tunge, ung, pung. Tunge, ung, pung. So that's the G. You have a similar thing in English. You know, like a long song or hang. Like the G's, I call it the Shanghai G. You can call it whatever you want, but that's the sound. Tunge, ung, pung. Yes. Beautiful. Så har vi, see what we got here. Unst. Again, this is not a word on its own, this is a sound. Kunst, dunst. Kunst, dunst. Could also make it long, you could say kunstner, because kunst is art, so kunstner is artist. And then you got Um. Will give you skum, dum, rum, nummer. Skum, dum, rum, nummer. Just like that. And you got uk. Sounds like some junk language. Uk. But actually it's not pronounced like uk, it's pronounced like uk. Because suk, buk, sukker, dukke. Suk, buk, sukker, dukke. And I know that video like this can seem quite long and detailed, but that is why you watch this and then you also watch other things. And this is like a reference video in case it's not already obvious. You cannot just memorize it in one sitting and then you're good. You watch it, or you watch a little bit, then you go watch something else, then you come back, you print it out, you download it like the PDF and so on, right? So it's a tool, it's something you can use, but you're not gonna be like super fluent in Danish pronunciation just by watching this. You gotta use other videos and materials as well. So yeah. Okay, and you got UKS, yeah, ox, ox, ox. I like saying these sounds that don't exist. I mean, they don't exist as words. So, bukser, dukse, luxus. Oh, there's actually two sounds here. Bukser, dukse, luxus. Alright, that's nice. Bukser, dukse, luxus. Det er bare godt. That's just good. Og så har vi, and I do believe, yes, this is the last slide today. You got usk, 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 like fusk, sjusk, lusk. Fusk, sjusk, lusk. Okay. And ut, sut, fut, kaput. Sut, fut, kaput. And uft, that will give you oft. So luft, duft, fornuft. Luft, duft, fornuft. And finally, ugt will be ugt. Yeah, I hear you. I know you're there. Ugt, like fucked, booked, looked. Could also say flukt. There are more. These are just some examples. So yeah, let's do them all again. That was kind of fast. Fusk, sjusk, lusk. Sud, fut, kaput. Luft, duft, fornuft. Fugt, bugt, lugt. And yes, that was the last one today. So, like I said, this was U or UG, so like one syllable words. U. Could say su, lu, bu, tu, sku. Again. Su, lu, bu, tu, sku. Okay, so these are easy. These words with just one syllable. It's U or it's UG. Right? Now, what if it's UD? Can say død, spyd, nyde, sydlig. Død, spyd, nyde, sydlig. Right, so the third one is nyding. It's longer, but it's the same basic principles. UD, yd, yeah, that's a soft E, I know. Død, spyd, nyde, sydlig. Right? Pretty similar, just adding the li. So yeah, that was yd. And then you have UR. What you're gonna do, could say fyr, dyr, tyr. Fyr, dyr, tyr. So still, it's the basic alphabet sound of U. So UR. The R makes it like longer. I like to call this an extension sound. UR, like UR. You don't say like in Spanish you will say like dolor. I can't say the R, but like you would say the R afterwards. And in English you might also be that like sore, like overpronounce the R. But if it ends with an R, you don't say the R, like not in the traditional sense. You don't say ugh. that's not a thing. The R simply makes it longer. And this is something I also talked about in other videos. Okay, så har vi øre. So øre, øre. You could say fyre, dyr, styre, syre. Fyre, dyr, styre, syre. You're learning how to rhyme basically. Fyre, dyr, styre, syre. So it's pretty much the same as this one, but it, of course, is a little bit longer. There's an E. Fyre, dyr, styre, syre. Awesome, super. And then we got us, like us. You could say us, lys, nys, goose. Yeah. Lys, nys, goose, lys. So this is U, still that, and then an S. Lys, nys, goose. Pretty easy so far. Okay, så går vi herover. So this slide we got Øen, like Øen. You say synes, fyn, syn, dyne. Synes, fyn, syn, dyne. So that's just Øen. In some cases a bit longer. Synes, fyn, syn, dyne. Okay, the næste. This one gets a little bit trickier. This is yng. Yeah. You say yngle, yngel, yngst. Yngle, yngel, yngst. So in this case, the Y or Y becomes, Ø, and like Ø, the letter O /. So that is important to pay attention to, and this is where you have some knowledge to combat this, how can I say, wrong idea of randomness. Yeah, there are some things that are random, but there are also rules. So if you see yng, yng together, then it has that sound. Yeah, yngle, yngel, yngst. And then yndig, like yndig, yndig. You say yndig, myndig, kyndig, yndig. Yndig is also a word. Right? Myndig, kyndig, yndig. Exactly. So it has the same thing as with G, as far as the vowel goes. So yngle, yngel, yngst. And then myndig, kyndig, yndig. Now, might take time to get used to, but you gotta know it. If you walk around and say myndig and kyndig and yndig, it's pretty funny, but it's wrong. Right? So let's keep this in mind. Okay, cool. Then we have this one, ynde. Ynde, ynde. Ynde. We say skynde, ynde, tynde. Skynde, ynde, tynde. It's kind of the same principle. Like you get that sound again. Skynde. Very nice. And then yld. YLD. Like yld. You could say skyld, fyld, møller, bøl. Skyld, fyld, møller, bøl. Yeah, easy enough. And of course, this is what a silent E. Yld. Skyld, fyld, møller, bøl. Very nice. Moving on. Okay, so we got here some yle. Yle. YLDE. Yle. You can say hylde, fylde, skylde. Again. Hylde, fylde, skylde. It's correct. So we got that. Hylde, fylde, skylde. And this is important to think about and remember, because the next one is a little different. This is yle. Yle. This one was yle. Hylde, fylde, skylde. But this is yle. Hyle, kyle, syle. It's a longer sound. So how do you know? Well, basically, when you have this soft D after the L, it's faster or shorter, you could say. Hyle. If you see this spelling, H-Y-L-D-E, you wouldn't say hyle, because that would be this one, hyle. Yeah. Maybe it sounds unnecessarily complicated, but there are different words, so it's important. So this is what you want to keep in mind. But if there's only one L and there's no D, then it's a longer sound. Hyle, hyle, kyle, syle. Yes. This is a general pattern we have with like L's and N's in Danish. Like sometimes there's a reason why it's short or why it's long. Okay, så har vi den her. This is gonna annoy you a little bit, but this YST becomes øst. Øst. So you say bryst og røst. Bryst, røst. If you think long enough, there are other examples too. But these are two that you can think about. Bryst, røst. Very nice. So that is, the sound. That is not the Y in the alphabet. That is more like an actual Ö, O/ again. But sometimes we have that. Like we have one vowel and then it acts in a way not really, fitting your expectations. And that can make spelling difficult. And I mean, guess some Danish people also misspell sometimes. Well, kids do. Usually adults don't. But it is what it is, and that's why we have this. So bryst and røst. And of course, if you look up the meaning of these words, it also becomes easier to distinguish. We just don't cover that today because that would take too long. Okay, so that was YST. But then I said YST to and got two. So that would be kyst and lyst. Yeah. Kyst, lyst. Like, still, that's not y, right? That's ö. So this was a bryst, røst. That's ö, right? O slash. And then this is kyst, lyst. Also O slash, but a different sound. Yeah, it's a whole science. Bryst, røst, kyst, lyst. So then you wonder, well, Thomas, how do I keep track? Well, actually, that is exactly what you do. You have some lists. Well, 1 list, 2 lists, 3, however many lists you need, because then you can distinguish by meaning. Oh yeah, because it means this, it's supposed to be pronounced like this. And you do that for all these words. Right? Context is everything. Okay, så har vi den her. This is ytte. Ytte. What we're gonna do. So ytte would be like knytte, bytte, lytte. Knytte, bytte, lytte. Yes, so that is back to the normal y sound, right? The standard sound in the alphabet. Knytte, bytte, lytte. It's easy enough. Super duper. Alright. Yes, let's see. Så har vi, yeah, this is gonna be annoying for you, but ytte to. Ytte to, ytte to, ytte to, to. So this has a different sound, as you could probably guess. Right? What you'll say here, you'll say beskytte, nytte, flytte. Beskytte, nytte, flytte. So yeah, you need to have more than one list. Like, you need to make a second list to keep track. But that's where it's so beautiful, that the meaning is different. And these are different words. Knytte, bytte, lytte. Okay, nice. Beskytte, nytte, flytte. Also nice. Different words, different meanings. You have something to go by. Beautiful. Okay, vi går videre. So different vowel. E. E. Yes. So again, 1 syllable. Very short words. Of course, they could have 2 syllables or something, but especially 1 syllable words. Think of it this way. You say læ, knæ, trofæ. I could continue stuff I didn't write. I would say bæ, fæ. Yeah, there are many words like that. Alright. So A, standard. A. And I should also mention that it's good to be careful here, because maybe you see this and you want to say like A, like the English A. But hear the difference. The English A is longer. A, B, C, A. This is just A. It's kind of like A, but you cut some. Alright? It's not A, it's A. Læ, knæ, trofæ. It's shorter. That's the thing. Læ, knæ, trofæ. Moving on. Så har vi æg. What are you gonna do? Æg, æ, g. Væg, skæg, æg. Væg, skæg, æg. Yeah. So that's basically what it is. It's still the same basic A sound. And here we actually have a hard G. We have a lot of silent G's in Danish, but there are also some spellings where there's a higher chance of a hard G. Right? Like there's softies and there's hard G's, but there are rules you can follow. And that's what these videos are about, right? I made 3 other videos before I made this one. So there are some things you can watch those videos and you can kind of take notes and print or whatever you need to do. And you can see, oh yeah, it's all coming together, right? When you have these many different patterns and combinations, Danish pronunciation becomes a bit more predictable. Okay, super. So væg, skæg, æg. Then we got æg. Egg. It feels so weird to say it like that. It's not a word. Egg. But yeah, egg, like ek, could be like kæk, væk, knæk, sæk. Kæk, væk, knæk, sæk. I'm always getting like blind looking at the screen, so the same vowel keeps appearing. And kæk, væk, knæk, sæk. So yeah, this is a bit different because væg, skæg, æg has a longer sound. Hear it. Væg. Do you have a good compassion? Æg, sæk, væg. Yeah, this one. So væg, væg, væk, væg, væg, it makes a difference. Right? Væg, skæg, æg. Kæk, væk, knæk, sæk. Awesome. Okay, moving on. Så har vi er. I put this in longer words, but it could also be a shorter one. There's some elaboration, not just this one. Så der er særlig, værdig, ærlig, færdig. Særlig, værdig, ærlig, færdig. So if you have a and r, like if you have those two together, then you get that r sound. Like, so the so the a actually sounds like a Danish a, right? Like særlig, but we don't write an a, like a. If we don't write that, we write a. Yeah. So særlig, værdig, ærlig, færdig. Exactly. Kind of the same thing here, just ending a bit differently. You say ære. So I'll say lære, være, bære, nære. Lære, være, bære, nære. Okay, I think the point is clear. Super. What we got here? You could say, so this is ed, like sort of inside words. Ed. Say stedig, edel, væde, læder. Stedig, edel, væde, læder. Like stedig, edel, væde, læder. So that's a soft E, right? I said that kind of loud. That's a soft E, right? Stedig, edel, væde, læder. Okay. This one can be a tricky one for some learners. This is ræk. Yeah, that's how you say it. Ræk. You could say skræk, fræk, bræk, træk. Skræk, fræk, bræk, træk. This is kind of, it's almost like there's another sound in there, right? It's like, of course there's an R, and also like something that almost sounds like an I in there. Skræk. Yeah. Skræk. Fræk, bræk, træk. I think this can be a hard sound to make for some people, but it's okay. In the 10 years that I've been teaching private lessons, almost everybody masters the R at some point within a few years. Like if you're living in Denmark, so it's not that hard. It doesn't make sense to your mind. Maybe you're like, what the hell is this? This is weird. But whatever your thoughts might be, sooner or later your mouth is gonna pick up just because you spend time around Danish people and you keep practicing. So yeah, so it has that ah sound. Like also an a, not a. Like det er a, det er ikke a. Like ah, skræk, fræk, bræk, træk. And you see this very often, like I said. And it is one vowel, but it actually has a sound of another. Right? So yeah. And pretty similar, række. Like frække, række, brække. Frække, række, brække. Yeah, that's all it is. Easy. Then we go back to the original A. It's ægte. So you could say fægte, nægte, ægte. Yes, that's a word. Fægte, nægte, ægte. Right. That's how it is. It's once again a hard G. Ægte, fægte, nægte, ægte. And of course, it also helps when you just in general listen to a lot of stuff in Danish and you watch videos, because then you hear it and you read it like hundreds or thousands of times, like all these Danish words with all these vowels, and then it kind of comes together. That takes time. It's not a quick fix, but it works. Like it works very well. Awesome. Moving on. Så har vi ebbe. Ebbe is not a thing, not really. Not in this sense anyway. Ebbe. Could say tæppe. Tæppe, næppe, kæppe. Tæppe, næppe, kæppe. Right. So this just, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's æppe, it's A, and the P's, they kind of sound like B's. Usually, you won't hear a Danish person say teppe, neppe, keppe, and like a hard P. It sounds mostly like a B. Teppe, neppe, keppe. Teppe, neppe, keppe, keppe, neppe, 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 neppe. Have some fun. Enjoy the language. Okay. And then you got emme. Emme. So some examples of emme could be temme, 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 vemmes, and kemme. Vemmes is a bit different, but the rule with amme is the same. So temme, vemmes, kemme. Yes. This next one can be a little bit tricky to remember, but let's try anyway. Engde. Engde. You would say mængde, længde. Mængde, længde. And this can be a little bit tricky because you get this G, læng. So like the G is not a hard G, but it's what I like to call the Shanghai G. Like the ang, hang, hænger. Lang, længere. You hear that the G makes a difference. If there's no G, it'd be mængde. Mængde. I almost can't say it. So weird. Right? Mængde. We don't say that. Mængde. Mængde. Længde. Yeah, so you got Shanghai G. Right? You don't have to call it Shanghai G. This is what I call it. You got this G. It's not hard, but it still makes a difference. And then you got a hard D. Mængde. Længde. This one will make some people complain. I have a feeling. But it's kind of important because these words are kind of not super basic, but they're important if you want to have a decent level of Danish. Okay, super. Then you got ene. 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 What could you say? You could say pæne. Pæne, læne, plæne, spæne. Pæne, læne, plæne, spæne. Right? Like that. Pæne, læne, plæne, spæne. It's kind of a long sound, right? Yeah. Awesome. Pæne, læne, plæne, spæne. Moving on. Æbe. Æbe. Æbe, æbe. So this is sæbe, flæbe, kæbe, læbe. Sæbe, flæbe, kæbe, læbe. So you notice the difference. This is a B, and this P thing also sounds like a B. But again, this is teppe, neppe, keppe. It's kind of short and quick. This is sæbe, flæbe, kæbe, læbe. There's a difference. Look out for the double consonants. That's usually what makes that difference. But here we only got one. A-B-E. Æbe. Sæbe, flæbe, kæbe, læbe. Amazing. Okay, moving on. What we got? We got æle. Æle. Yes, so what could you say with that? You could say kæle, pæle, knæle. Kæle, pæle, knæle. Yeah, and I think some people might struggle with knæle because K and N, you're not used to it. But we have a fair amount of words with it. Not super like wow everything all the time, but it does happen. Okay, kæle, pæle, knæle. Kind of a long sound. Æle. Og så har vi elle. It could be two spellings here, depending on what word, but pronunciation is the same. So, fælde, helle, gælde, tælle. Fælde, helle, gælde, tælle. Two L's or an L and D, then is faster or shorter. Kæle, pæle, knæle. Fælde, helle, gælde, tælle. Nice. And then what? Æs. Æs. So you could say hæs, blæs, fjæs. Yes. Hæs, blæs, fjæs. Very good. Yeah, so that's really what it is. There's not much more to say. Then you got æse. Æse, similar but a bit longer. Næse, blæse, fadæse. næse, blæse, fadæse. Yeah, I guess that's also pretty easy once you hear it. Okay, moving on. Okay, so the last vowel, so O, 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 O. Now there's a million words, well, not a million, but maybe 1,000 with O. This is, a single syllable. So you can hear O, Mo, Fo, So, Ro, No. Right? O, Mo, Fo, So, Ro, No. This is like the most basic thing. It's one syllable, you gotta know it. Mo. So what about O, L? What we wanna do? Ål, ål, ål. You could say mål, skål, bål, stål. Mål, skål, bål, stål. And you could also say ål. That's actually a word as well. Mål, skål, bål, stål. Like ål. Nice. But then you got åne. Åne. Åne would be låne, skåne, håne. Låne, skåne, håne. Låne, skåne, håne. Easy. What's next? Åde. Åde would be like måde, både, nåde, våde. Again. Måde, både, nåde, våde. Maybe this is hard for some learners if you're somewhat of a beginner, because you're not used to the soft D, and then you see this strange Danish letter. But yeah. Måde, både, nåde, våde. Amazing. Super duper. Den næste, what we got here. Alright, so this is råd. Råd. One of your favorite sounds, I know it. Råd, råd, råd. Tråd, gråd, råd, kåd. My mouth is going crazy from the repetition. Tråd, gråd, råd, kåd. Right? Yeah, tråd, gråd, råd, kåd. So that's what it does. It's just the R, and then O and soft D. Det bløde D. Det bløde D. The soft D. Then you got open. Open. Open, open. So you could say open, mopen, topen. Again. Open, mopen, topen. That's pretty easy. Open, mopen, topen. Lovely. Now it gets a little bit trickier here. On. On. So you hear it's a different sound. Right? It's like an O. O. Det lidt ligesom O. It's kind of like O. On, on. On, hon, bun. On, hon, bun. On, hon, bun. Bun, hon, on. So yeah, that's what you get when you have the N and the D, O-N-D. Når du har N og D efter O, så får du den lyd. Then you get that sound. On. On, hon, bun. On. Super. Then there's or. Or. Again, we have that R sound, right? Because of the R. Går. Går, or, for, lår, dårlig. Just to have one that's also long. Går, or, for, lår, dårlig. So when you have O, R, and when you have those two letters together, you will get the or sound. And just like E-or this year. Or. This is on, hon, bun, and this is går, or, for, lår, dårlig. It makes sense. The good thing is you'll see many, many words like this. So there's a lot of practice waiting for you. Or. Går videre. Okay, the final slide. Så har vi or. Or. You say saw, tår, bor. Saw, tår, bor. is the thing is we usually don't say it so slowly. So saw, tor, bor. That would be normal speed. And most of the time we don't really say the R, like saw, tor, bor. In the older days, or even just 30 years ago, people would say it more like really spelled out, like with the R. But nowadays we tend not to do that. And so that's something you have to be aware of. The sort of official pronunciation is kind of fading out from normal use, at least in normal conversation. Saw, tor, bor. So again, it's O and R, and then we get that O. Saw, tor, bor. Very nice. Okay, ås. Ås. So ås, you get like vås, mås, lås. Vås, mås, lås. Not so much to say. It's kind of straightforward. Å-s, ås. That's it. Vås, mås, lås. Meget fint. Alright, så har vi åse. Åse. Or you could say dåse or låse. Dåse, låse. So yeah, it's kind of a long sound, right? Dåse, låse. Yeah. And the last one. The last one is, well, it's easy, but it also stands out a little bit. Because here it's due to this being a prefix. Right? Now, på, normally as a preposition, hvor han sidder på, eller noget på, eller på, like many things. Like you can be on something. So as a normal preposition, it's på. But then when it's a prefix, that changes. It becomes på. Yeah, goddamn, it does. Påfund, påmindelse, påtaget, and many others. Påfund, påmindelse, påtaget. Right? Påfund, påmindelse, påtaget. And this is a thing to be aware of, because I have seen some of my students, they keep forgetting, and then they say på when it's på. So you can do something nice for yourself and just, in Danish you say, write it behind your ear. Skriv dig det bag øret. Right? But yeah, just try to remember. Påfund, påmindelse, påtaget. It's also påskud. And yeah, there's a lot of words if you really think about it. Super. So yeah, that was basically a lot of patterns here, right? Let's see how many there. This is the first one. So there's a whole lot. And this was of course the fourth part, right? So go watch the other ones. I highly